Hey everybody, it's Dr. Cara, and this week on my blog, I want to talk about messages from pet angels and tips for how you can connect with your pet who has passed and get your own messages from them. So I've been an animal communicator for almost 10 years now, and since the very beginning, since the very first pet mediumship reading that I did for somebody, these became my favorite readings. They became my favorite because they are so powerful and so healing and so beautiful and magical and transformational and otherworldly. I mean, we just get a glimpse beyond our three-dimensional world into a whole other way of a whole other reality, a whole other way of being, a whole other perspective. And everything that I know about what happens after a soul passes, I've learned from talking to animals who have passed. And there's so many different ways that it can go. And what I wanted to share with you today is two things: the messages and the tips. But I'm doing that because I really want you to get a sense of how much more choice is out there, how many more options are out there than we think. And so many of us grow up having this very limited view that we live and then we die and then it's bad. Somehow that this is the good part and that's the bad part. And if we're here after somebody else has passed, then we suffer and they're suffering. Or if they had a hard time at the end of their life, then they're unhappy or something's wrong. And what I've learned from the animals is there's nothing wrong, and everything pretty much goes according to a plan that we don't know about. And so as humans, we have a small perspective. And the best that we can do is go along with what happens, do our best, make our choices, but also not beat ourselves up or think things are in control that are not in control. So I want to share first some messages with you from the animals because I think that will sort of illustrate all the different things that can happen after a soul passes and how they feel about it. So the first message I want to share is from a cat named Patch, who was my friend Michelle's cat. And I didn't ever know Patch, but when I did the reading for my friend Michelle, he said, and he died in a car accident, so she was very traumatized by his passing. It was very, very hard for her. And he said, "I'm between worlds, and it's great here." He just thought he kind of won the lottery. Everything was really good for him, and he was really, really fine. And that's not what most of us expect to hear when we think about, the time after somebody has died. So I think that that was really, really important for her and for me. The other thing that often happens is that we worry that our pets might have suffered needlessly, right? And so one boxer came back for one of my clients and said, "I didn't suffer. I left so that I could come back and be with you for the next phase of your life, and it's going to be a big one." So the timing for this dog happened so that he could get ready, or she could get ready actually, for what was next, because she loved her person so much that she wanted to be there. And there was this opportunity for an out so that she could come back in. Again, it expanded our understanding and expanded our perspective. So that was another really significant and beautiful one for me. And the next one that I want to share with you is from my friend's dog, Glory, who also passed really suddenly. And she was kind of a mix of a shepherd collie lab something. But she was kind of an anchor in the house for the family. And she died suddenly. It was really like so fast. And so it was very traumatic. And the next day I met with my friend and we got messages from her for each member of the family. And each one was so meaningful and so captured the beauty of that individual in the family. And he just marveled. He's like, "I can't believe she knew us so well." And her message to my friend was, you have all the answers inside yourself. Trust yourself and your wisdom. And that was super meaningful to him. And that's a great message for all of us to remember, right? But just, the beauty of her recognizing this and being able to pass this on after she passed was so, so comforting for my friend. So that was also, quite an eye opener for me, because that again was kind of early in my career that one happened. Um, the next one that I want to share with you is from my dog Aiko. When she passed, she was 13 and a half. She was an Australian Shepherd, and she taught me about love and devotion while she was here. And I really learned how to give freely of myself to someone else and not be more concerned with myself, but to be more concerned with the person, the dog that I was caring for. And she had so many beautiful messages for all of us when she passed. But the thing that she said she wanted people to know was to live your life fully, to love yourself enough to just be you. That's enough. Be yourself. It's the most and the least you can do. So it's the easiest, most natural thing, but it's also the greatest gift that we can give ourselves and that we can give each other, is to be ourselves. And she loved herself fully. She was Aiko everywhere. There was no holding back with her. And so that's a message that I continue to try to embody and embrace all the time. But that was a really just such a great reminder that it is that simple. We can just love ourselves. So a lot of times my clients come to me because there's some unresolved issue, or the passing was traumatic or confusing or something. And so another one of my clients, his dog was a little Chihuahua dog, and she said it was my time. And he didn't think it was. And she said, no, it really was. It was time for me to go. And I'm a guide for you, and I'm always on your shoulder. So she had chosen to be with him in that special relationship as a guide, which not every soul does after they pass, but that was their special relationship. And so she decided to stay with him and to be his guide and to always be there. And so that was super, super comforting to him. And another boxer from a different client had a male boxer, and his message was that he was like Sir Galahad, always by your side. So again, another dog that said, I'm just always going to be there. I'm always with you. The relationships that we have with our animals, with any of our loved ones, it goes way beyond the physical life that we have together. And that's one thing that I've learned from doing these readings and talking to these animals, is that it's not just a nice thing to say, it's the truth. It's the reality from their perspective, is that that relationship keeps going and it's always there. The challenge is for us as humans to keep our awareness of it. Obviously, it's a lot easier if they're physically there and we can touch them and hear them and smell them and all of those things, but we still have a relationship even after they've passed. And so that brings me to the tips that I want to share with you. And I share these tips a lot with my clients who come to me for pet mediumship readings. And they really kind of fall into three categories of things to keep in mind: the time, the place, and your state of mind. So choose a time when, if you want to connect with a pet who has passed on, choose a time that is good for you. So it may be first thing in the morning when it's quiet and you're awake. It may be right before you go to sleep because it's quiet, notice quiet, and you're calm and relaxed. But choose a time that you're going to intentionally bring your awareness to that pet. And then number two is choose a place. So oftentimes, when I'm doing these readings for my clients, the animals will come through and say, sit in that chair in this room, or go to this place in the yard. So if there's a special place where you spent time with your pet, that could be a great place to choose to connect with your pet from there, because it's already kind of imbued with that energy that will support that connection for you. So choose the place that's going to be conducive. For me, the time and the place is most often when I'm falling asleep and I'm lying in bed relaxed, and I'm kind of, in that drifty liminal kind of world where you're not quite asleep, but you're not quite awake. That for me is a great time and place to connect with my dog, Aiko, who's passed on. And then the third thing is your state of mind. So it's really important that you settle your body physically, your mind mentally, and just get really still physically and mentally. You can do this with EFT, you can do this with meditation, you can do this with a walk. I have a tapping routine on EFT for pet loss grief. So if you're really grieving, you want to clear some of that so that you're in a relaxed body and mind. So I'll put the link for that below. But get quiet, get receptive, have your mindset be such that you are open and receptive, but not attached. Don't look for something to show up in a specific way. And I think of it as kind of seeking without seeking. It's just really like opening up and looking around, but not looking for something in particular. And the other tip that I have for this is to notice what you notice. So just notice what's going on and just keep noticing. I notice this, I notice that, and relax and breathe and seek without seeking. So the harder we try to get something, the more we're kind of pushing it away. But if we don't go look for it, we can't find it either. So it's finding that middle ground, that seeking without seeking, where we're open and looking in that direction, but we're not, holding on so tight that we can't receive. So the time, the place, the mindset, those are the three things to keep in mind. And then just invite your pet to make their presence known and to be with you, or to show you a sign, or to visit you in your dreams, or to do something the next day that will remind you of them, that will show that they got your message. All of those things are possible. All of those things are reasonable requests. And I like to keep it as open-ended as possible, because I don't know what they're doing on the other side. They might be busy. They may not be here, right now, right when I'm ready. So I like to keep it open and say, if it's possible, can you visit me in my dreams? Or if it's possible, can you give me a nudge so I know you're here, or send me a reminder of you and a memory or something like that, just to keep that connection and that relationship going. But the thing is that we can't control it and make it happen in a certain way. And so we have to be open to all the different ways that it can show up. So monitor all of your senses, your vision, your memories, your hearing, the songs you used to listen to, the way that your animal sounded in life, the sensations in your body. All of those things can give you information. Oftentimes, my clients are looking to see something when they actually are already feeling something. So just monitoring your senses and just bringing your awareness to your receptivity and your openness, and the non-attachment is really critical, because it may or may not be right then, but you want to keep it open so that when it does happen, you are aware of it. So those are the messages that I wanted to share with you. Those are the tips that I hope will help you. And I do have a Connect with Your Pet Angel class coming up this month. So if you would like my guidance to walk you through the process to connect with your pet and have a conversation, so that you have that experience anchored, and then you can go forward and do it again on your own, I would love to support you in that. And there will be a link in the comments below, or in the description below, for you to come and join us in that class. It's a beautiful, magical experience, and it's so joyful when people connect with the pet that they haven't connected with in a long time. It's a really, really special kind of time. So I hope you'll join us there. I hope this helps you, and I hope you have a long, continued relationship with your pet in whatever form that may be. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everybody.